We've talked about the importance of the element of setting in literature. And so I thought that I would take advantage of that by positioning myself in front of my fireplace with a fire going in it to help set the mood, to help you get into the frame of mind, to help you get a little bit closer to the setting of the story Young Goodman Brown. Ultimately, Young Goodman Brown goes to a witch's Sabbath, okay? And so you can picture fire with all of that. So we're setting the scene for that for you, okay? Nathaniel Hawthorne is a very intense writer. Hawthorne lived his life in Puritan New England. Specifically, he was born and raised in Salem, Massachusetts. All of you know a good little bit about Salem, Massachusetts. In the story Young Goodman Brown, Hawthorne sets the story in 1692. So it shouldn't be really difficult for you to form the frame of mind that you need to see what's going on here and to understand the world where this story is happening. But again, I hope to add to it with the idea of being in front of a fire here for you, because fire is certainly part of a witch's Sabbath. A little extra thing for you also. I wore red today, okay? What I want you to do after you watch this video is to email me a one-sentence statement as to why red would be appropriate for what we're talking about here today. Okay? Okay, moving along. We're talking about symbolism this week, the use of symbols, the use of something to stand for something else. Okay? That's what a symbol is. And in the lesson, I give you a whole bunch of symbols so that you can understand what symbols are. But we use symbols every day in our lives, you know. And again, there's symbolism to this shirt. I hope you can realize what it is and let me know what it is. Okay. Hawthorne uses a ton of symbols in everything that he writes. Looking at the symbols in a piece of literature brings you to a deeper understanding. The author is not only giving you a message on this level, but he's trying to get you down to this level as well, okay? Now, let me throw this at you. Hawthorne had a problem with the whole Puritan demeanor, way of life. In his mind, they acted as if they were better than everybody else, okay? Now, those people came to this country and landed in Plymouth Colony in the 1620s. You know, they came here with the idea to practice their own religion. We've been taught it was for religious freedom. No, it was for the freedom to practice their own religion. Okay, and I explained a little bit more about how, in fact, intolerant they were in New England, so you can see what I mean is this is not really religious freedom that they were doing. So, you know, our teachers kind of generalized that one for us. Anyway, okay, so what we're zeroing in on this week is symbols. Now, just a quick overview of the story Young Goodman Brown. Goodman Brown is a newlywed. His wife's name is Faith. Goodman Brown is going off into the woods one evening. He tells his wife this one evening above all others he has to go, and his wife asks him to stay. But you know, you can do some interpreting of that too. He goes into the forest, meets a character. This character whom he meets in the forest tells him that Goodman Brown is late, and the character goes on to tell him that when he passed Old South full 15 minutes ago, the clock was already striking 6. You should know that Salem and Boston are about 20 miles apart, and Old South is in Boston. So you're getting a strong message there. You know, even today, you can't travel 20 miles in 15 minutes with the transportation that we have today, unless you have a helicopter or a plane or something, okay? Well, Obviously, in the 1690s, mere mortals could not do that. So you're getting an idea there. Goodman Brown tells this person he doesn't really want to stay with him, but he goes on with him, and he goes on with him, and he goes on with him, and they meet other people on the way. Ultimately, Goodman Brown's resolve is broken. There's a significant happening where pink ribbons come floating down. Okay, and you'll see those pink ribbons a couple of times in the story. They are very important. In the lesson, I wrote about the pink ribbons. You need to tie that together and see what's going on with Goodman Brown. Okay, Goodman Brown goes to the witches' Sabbath, and at the last minute, he goes forward. He sees everybody there. He sees everybody from the town there. Okay, and he's a little bit shocked to do that, as all of us might be. And at the last minute, he seems to resist. Okay, he seems like he doesn't join the covenant of witches, but that's all part of the story. And then he lives a miserable life from then on. Okay, and I'm not going to tell you too much about the story because it's a captivating story. By the way, yeah, there's some these and thous and ye's and that kind of stuff, but it's not Old English. It's the same English we speak. It's just some of those more formal terms for you and me and they. So don't let that put you off. It's not a simple story. But here's the thing. You're writing about symbols in this story, okay? You're going to have to do some heavy-duty thinking about it to come up with a whole bunch of symbols, okay? But there are a ton of symbols in there. Think about the names of the characters. Think about if they could be symbols, okay? Think about the staff that is pretty prominent in the story. Can that be a symbol? Think about the words that characters use. Can they be telling us something more? Like when Faith says, "This one night above all others, please stay here with me." Is this some kind of a symbol for us? Okay? Hawthorne throws a symbol after symbol after symbol. When he gets to that witch's Sabbath, why does he see everybody from the town there? Why is he shocked that the good shrank not from the wicked? What is Hawthorne trying to symbolize about the Puritans in that? Hawthorne walks past his wife on the way home. It's like he is disgusted with her. Okay, and you'll understand that when he does. But why then, if that's the case, why at the end of the story do we see that when Hawthorne when Goodman Brown dies, on his way to the cemetery, he is followed by his wife, Faith, and his children and grandchildren. What does that tell us about him then? If he thinks the Puritans are so awful, as you see in the story, if he thinks all the people in Salem are so awful, as you see in the story, then how come he has children and grandchildren? Why is Faith okay then? When in fact he has chosen to walk past her. The story is so filled with stuff. Okay, so think about all of these symbols, and I've written the assignment for you to follow. There's an irony in the fact that here we are, almost to spring, and we're talking about a witch's Sabbath and fire and all this kind of stuff, and Mother Nature chose to throw at us probably the coldest weekend of the winter, and yet we're talking, there's the power of Mother Nature, and in this story, we have the power of human nature. So think about all of these symbols, put all this stuff together. Now, as you're aware, we are in the midst of the season of Lent, the Christian season of atonement, the Christian season of penance. And with that in mind, I'll just walk away and let you see the flames and see what they might symbolize for you. Have a good week.